And we are live. Hello,
Woohoo!
everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Friends, the grocery challenge is officially over. And tonight we're going to talk about what we learned and what the next steps are.
Mhm.
So the
Wow.
question is, what happens next?
Oh yeah. It's gonna be a powerful move because this is gonna give us a chance to really look at, it's nice to be in the midst of it, but to look back at it is really special because then we can see the growth that we've made and we can cheer our successes.
Oh, exactly. We can cheer our successes as well as our opportunities.
Yes, yes, yes.
So we've been talking. So what we're going to talk about tonight is what happens now, what happens next. And I have to ask you, Miss Leona, what surprised you the most for yourself when you went through the challenge? And while Miss Leona is answering, I want those of you in the chat to be letting us know what surprised you the most. Drop those comments in the chat, and then we'll come over there and check them out in just a little bit. But what surprised you the most, Leona?
Well, I think what really surprised me the most was the fact that in doing the challenge, it made me really create. I had
Mm,
to create dinners because I wanted them, number one, I wanted them to be simple. I wanted them to stay within the budget. I wanted them to be satisfying for the family. So they have to taste good. That's the bottom line. It's that your food must be good.
absolutely.
And in addition to all that, I stayed in my budget. That was the shock because I wasn't running to the store all the time. And that wasn't easy to do. It really wasn't.
It really wasn't easy. And when I think about what surprised me the most was that the accountability really forced me to stick within my budget. Since I had already done a grocery haul just before we got started, I
Mhm.
was like, oh, you can't just, put that aside. You're going to have to count that as part of your shopping for the month.
Mhm.
So the accountability really forced me to think about what I needed to do. Now, it was harder to go to one store than I expected simply because there were times when I had to go to Kroger for a prescription. So I thought we might as well get whatever we got to get here. Or if
Mhm.
I had to go to Walmart for cat food, I thought we might as well get whatever we got to get while we're
Mhm.
here. So I found myself doing that. Whereas I wanted to have Aldi's as my store, it just didn't work out because it was like, I'm not going to be driving around. I'm not going to leave Kroger after picking up a prescription just to go to Aldi. It just didn't make sense. So
Yeah.
that was hard for me.
Mhm.
But did I save some money? Yes, I did. And here's the other thing that I learned. And I guess I was going to talk about that when we come to the pantry piece. But
Mhm.
I realized that if you've only got so much to shop with for groceries,
Mhm.
how much of that can you reasonably expect to use to build your pantry, like to build an
Mm.
extended pantry? I'm like,
Mhm.
okay. So, and one of the ladies last week said that she set aside $50 a week
Mhm.
to stock up on vegetables, and she bought
Mhm.
fresh and canned and did things to stock her pantry that way. And I thought, is that something that we're going to need to do to specifically set aside money to stock up the extended pantry? Because sometimes the things that I needed to buy for that week didn't really leave a lot left over to be able to stock up
Mhm.
as well.
Well, I think some of that has to do with the fact that, we are, I'll say I
Mhm.
guessed as far as how much I thought I should set the budget to be.
Mhm.
And so what this has given me a chance to do is to see, was that a reasonable budget? because it may have been that some people might have set their budget just a tad bit too tight,
Mm-hmm.
trying to get as small as they could, and where others gave themselves a little more leniency, but I didn't. And so because of that, I think I would probably have to increase the budget just a tad,
Mm-hmm.
so that I would have enough to designate for replenishing the pantry. And that's something that we really want to talk about. I think if not today, at a later time, is how to go about doing that and how we want to look at that. Just some suggestions on how to set up that budget.
We're
And
coming, we're going to cover that in a little bit.
yes,
So
yes,
hold that thought. So, okay,
yes,
so did you save any money?
I did. I saved over $100.
I did too. And
I was shocked.
well, and the thing is, well, now when I say I saved money, I spent almost up to my $500.
Hmm.
But when I'm being my normal self, I'm spending more than that because I might send the hubby to the store to pick up something, and he's gonna come back with more than the something that I asked for. Or if I'm out of this or that, I might run back and forth a couple of times.
Hmm.
I saved money by not doing that. So I did
Yes.
save some money. So you guys over there in the chat, let us know how you did. Did you save any money? And you're also letting us know what was harder than you expected. And we're coming to you. We just want to make sure that we get some of the basics covered first, because if we've got some people on that are new to the Modern Home Economist, thank you guys for joining us.
Absolutely.
I am Denise Jordan from Homemaking with Denise, and with me is my sister from another mister.
Leona Dooley of Ebony, Ivy, and Time. And
And
we're
we
so glad
are
to have you. We are the Modern
Modern Home
Home Economist.
Economists.
Woo.
Yes. So what did we do? So what we did was we challenged ourselves and
Hmm.
you guys to do one store, one plan. I already talked about how the fact that my one store didn't work out, but my one plan, meaning that I did plan my grocery list and I did stick to my list. And just because I knew I was going to have to tell you guys whether or not I stuck to the list, girl, when I went in that store, I'm like, okay, not looking at that, not looking at that, not looking at that. I was woman of steel. I
I
stuck.
was too. I went through the grocery so fast. Conway was sitting in the car. And I mean, I zipped through that store so fast with my list. And when I came out, he looked at me like, "Are you okay?" And I said, "I'm fine." He said, "And you're finished?" I said, "I am." And I said, "It's about business." And but yes, I stuck to that list and I didn't waste any time in the grocery store.
And you know what? That's the key too, because the longer you stay in the store, the
Mm,
more you get tempted. So not only did we made our plan, we shopped
mhm,
our list, we stuck to our weekly target, but I also saved my receipts so that I could add them
mhm,
up later and look to see what I got. And the
mhm,
other thing I'm going to do as soon as I get some spare time, because I have some receipts from like 2022 and 2023, I'm going to put on the list some of those things that I normally buy, like black beans and cans of
mhm,
stuff,
mhm,
and see how the prices changed over time, and
mhm.
then put the current prices now so I can see whether or not we're actually getting a good buy.
That's true. That's true. That's a good way to look at it. Now, I have to admit, I don't have receipts quite that far back,
Mhm.
but
I just happened to look into a book. They were tucked in a book somewhere.
uh-huh. So, Miss Denise, what happens next? It depends upon what the challenge revealed. So I am curious. Inquiring minds want to know, how did the challenge help
Mhm.
our viewers?
What
So,
were the biggest lessons learned? So let's go over to the chat now, Leona, and see what people are saying. So
okay.
'cause it's hopping over here. So let's see. We have people talking about the weather, welcoming each other, saying hello.
Hmm.
And you and I gave a lesson. People are sharing heat. California want to share heat with Chicago. And so Kim says that she's looking forward to tonight's discussion. And then,
Wonderful.
oh, look at here. We've got Ethel back. Hello.
Yay.
Oh, yeah, Ethel, you've been MIA, but we're
Mhm,
glad you are here. And let us know how you've been doing. We have
mhm.
certainly missed your happy little remarks here in the comments.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay,
All
so this, I believe it's Andrea. Am I
right.
correctly on
I believe
the
so.
challenge? The biggest things she learned were the system of planning the meals and strictly sticking to the predetermined shopping list.
Woohoo.
Listed was hard, but possible.
All righty. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Yay.
Let's see.
Let's see.
Oh, so Christine says it taught her the importance of making a plan, even if you deviate from it. Now, that's good. Yeah, I like that.
Ah.
Even if you deviate from it. And she also learned the importance of avoiding mid-week runs.
Yes. That's a good thing as well. Oh, wow. That's wonderful. Oh, relax bubble.
You want to
Stephanie.
take this one?
Okay, sure. She said she saved $50 under her 4-week budget. She refused to buy a few optional items like cashews, yum, that were inflated, and she chose
Oh,
alternatives like less costly sunflower seeds.
now
Oh,
that's a modern home economist right there.
that's what we do. That's what we
Absolutely.
do.
Hmm.
That's,
Okay. Okay. So I think we all learned some pretty good lessons.
mhm,
And here's the thing, depending upon when we talk about what happens next, I think what happens next depends upon what your lesson was.
that's true.
Like
That's
when
true.
I think about like my lesson learned was I realized that sometimes I might need to set aside particular amounts of money to build my pantry, my extended pantry, rather than trying to get that out of the grocery bill. Because
Mhm,
especially now that we have a cat and we're buying cat food, and cat
mhm.
food is pretty darn expensive, it puts a little strain on the budget from that perspective.
That's true.
So there's three options or three pathways you can take. And Miss Leona, you are already showing this pathway right here of meal sequencing. So why don't you handle this one?
Sure, sure. Well, first of all, with the meal sequencing, you want to. I have to say first, we all must stay with the plan of
Mhm.
making sure that we make the plan, that we shop our pantry first, and then we look at that grocery list and go to the grocery and
Mhm.
our order, whichever the case may be. But certainly, as far as meal sequencing, that goes back to my 4-part formula that we're using that I absolutely love. And I have a copy of it here. Of course, I can't find it at this moment. I never can find it when I want it. But anyway, I had it right here. But anyway, using that plan where you have your protein anchor
Mhm.
and you have your bulk builder. And I
Mhm.
know Andrea was talking about she's learned a little bit with the bulk builder using rice, how much rice she can use and to prepare for her family. And if she needed to do it 3 meals a day, she's been able to do that. And so the bulk builder is very important because that's the filling part of the meal. Then you have your veggie volume, which is your third part. And the nice thing about the veggie volume is the fact that if your budget is tight, then you can cut back, maybe not have more than one vegetable. You may have only the one, but certainly if you have enough, you may be able to up it to two vegetables. per night with your dinner. And certainly, if you have salad or whatever that's left over, you can certainly serve that as a part of lunch. Also, looking at fruits and vegetables, all of that comes under that veggie volume as well.
Mhm.
And then, of course, you have your seasonings and sauces. And so you're using that in order to plan your meal each night to make sure that you're accountable for your protein, your bulk builder, your vegetable, and then your flavorings. And you're going to find that Miss Denise has been working on a project that she's using her one protein, and she's preparing that one day. And then she's preparing a variety of dishes throughout the week.
I'm
And
going to talk about that too, because I tell you what, it has been fun. But here's the comment from Andrea that you wanted me to find.
yes, yes. And but Andrea had shared with us that the pantry audit is also very useful. She said after doing the math, she found that 1 pound of rice per day is enough when paired with other things for 3 meals a day, if need be, for a family of 4. And back many years ago, I know the South is known for having rice at every meal,
We have rice
and
for breakfast
and I
sometimes.
and it was that way because of the fact it was a bulk builder.
Mhm.
It filled the children up. They were able to go to school. And I can remember having rice cereal, and we had some type of rice something for lunch. Our rice was a part of that. And then,
Mhm.
of course, you were able to have rice for dinner. And so there may be some Southern ladies who are out there who are familiar with that because that's how you grew up. But rice is a very it's inexpensive compared to some of the other things that you might purchase, and allows you to keep your family full and allows you to stay within budget.
Well, here's the sequencing too. You were talking about that, and I'm going to
Mhm.
try to expand this. So, guys, I'm going to try not to mess it up. But here is a printable that we have available for you. We do have it linked in the description box below, but this is just something that just kind of ties into what Miss Leona was just talking about. And this is our weekly dinner rhythm framework where you can maybe plan 3 to 5 connected meals with intention. And as Miss Leona mentioned earlier, this is where you're going to have, did you call it a hero meal or a protein or a, a
The protein anchor for the protein.
mm-hmm.
Yes, the protein anchor.
So you might have a protein anchor, and we've got some examples down here where you can choose your anchor protein. It could be chicken, ground beef, ham, roast, or whatever. And then um, right here on the form, what your anchor protein is for the week. And then step 2 will be you would decide what your meals are going to be. And you'd have meal 1, what that is. And then meal 2, you're going to add in, have some different ideas for what that second, third, and maybe even a fourth meal is going to be.
Mhm.
And then you can decide what kind of veggies, volume, or bulk builders or
Mhm.
flavor boosters that you need to go in there along with that. And then again, here's some of the things that you can support with your pantry staples. So
Mhm.
you've got your rice, potatoes, pasta. You've got your bulk boosters there, your veggies, and they can be frozen or canned. And then you've got your flavor boosters. And then the big thing I think Miss Leona mentioned earlier was shop your shelves, see what you've already
Mhm.
got, write down what you've already got, make a list of what you need to buy, and then you can reflect before you make that run to the grocery store.
Absolutely.
And then here's
Absolutely.
our final reminder. Leona, can you read that final reminder, Leona?
The final reminder is modern home economist plans with wisdom, cooks with intention, and builds systems that support her home. It's not about having endless options, it's about having a few that work.
Absolutely. So now
Mhm.
this is in the description box. So do you guys have any questions about how to use that? Or Leona, do you think we need to explain any more? What do you think?
No, I think it's pretty clear. Quite a few of you have used the four-part budget formula. And this is basically the same thing. It's just set up a little bit different and
Mhm.
ask some questions because it's making you think, think through what you're doing.
Mhm.
And so I think I think they'll be just fine with what
Okay.
they have here. And in looking at one of the pages that you may not be able to see is that it goes through each of the steps, and I think you flip through that, going through each of the steps, the various meals. And the nice thing about this particular dinner rhythm is that you're starting with a main protein. And I know for Miss Denise, we had a conversation about the fact that I think she selected chicken when she was doing hers. And I was saying to her, for my household, I could prepare the four meals. That wouldn't be the problem. I would have four different chicken meals, but I would have to have one week, one the second week, one the third, and put it throughout the month, and they would already be planned and together. I could even freeze them, as a freezer meal. But because I have someone in my family who could not handle having chicken more than once a week. And so even though the flavors are changed, he'll see the chicken and he's done. And so I was saying to her, she said, but it works. I said, I know it works. I know it works. The thing of it is that he just won't eat it. And so I typically have, different types of protein each night only because of him.
Well,
Me,
here's the
I
thing,
could do
Leona.
it.
Now,
Mm-hmm.
let me say this. It works for us. But
Mm-hmm.
if it doesn't work for your family,
Mm-hmm.
it's not working. So I like the way that you can, like you said, I might make the two meals and then freeze one. So
Mm-hmm.
shall I tell them about my experience this week?
Yes, yes.
So my sister is here to visit, and we've been watching Cassandra at Becoming a Farm Girl, and she has these sequences of meals. If you haven't watched Cassandra at Becoming a Farm Girl, you got to watch her. She's
She's
hilarious,
a hoot.
and she is so smart. So we decided we were going to make the sequence of meals that she made last week. So we went to the grocery store, bought all the stuff. The hero protein was chicken. So you
Mm,
have chicken every night. And my husband, he'll eat it. As long as it tastes a little different, he might even eat it 3 nights in a row, even if it's the same thing. He's not picky. Whatever I put on the table, he will eat. So I am blessed in that regard. So we made but you have to do a lot of different pieces to get
mhm,
it going. So we made the chicken the first night, and it was like you roasted um, carrots, radishes, which I never would have thought to cook. I only thought you put radishes in salads, but carrots, radishes, asparagus, some onions, those vegetables. You roasted those, and then you put the chicken on top of that. So we roasted 8 chicken thighs
mhm.
with the vegetables. So we had 2 pans going at one time with these 8 chicken thighs and all these vegetables. So we thought. And then we also had to steam some cauliflower, have that going for the next night. And because the next night was like a cauliflower mash, like a cauliflower rice bowl, and you put the vegetables that you cooked from the first day that had the chicken flavoring, you put some of those vegetables on the cauliflower bowl. You made this special au jus with lemon juice and other things that you put in it. That was absolutely amazing. And then you made this little sauce to go on top with parsley. My husband was like, "This looks like a restaurant meal." That's exactly what it looks like.
Mhm.
But it was really, really good. But then I realized though that we needed more cauliflower, so I had to make more cauliflower the next day and more vegetables the next day because we ate all the vegetables the first day. So we had to make more vegetables to put on top of the cauliflower rice bowl. But it was really good. And then today, no, day 3 was soup. and you took the chicken, some of the chicken for the soup. You also had some of those same vegetables,
Mhm.
the carrots, the asparagus, the radishes, and this time though you also had some broccoli
Mm,
and some celery that you cut up the first night. Now you
mm,
cut the broccoli and the celery up the first night while food was in the oven because you were just waiting. So
mhm,
by the time you got ready to make the soup, you just had to get the bag out. Once the broth was ready, drop them in. That soup was absolutely delicious. I never would have thought soup could be so good. It was
mhm,
really good. And so then tonight's meal were like two casseroles. One was you put the cauliflower rice in a blender along with some chicken, some of those vegetables, some of the juice and all that, blend it up, put it in a pan, and then on top of that, you also put the chicken in there and you also cooked mushrooms and onions that you all
mm,
put that in a skillet, cover that with cheese and bake it.
mm,
Meal four and then meal
mhm,
five, which I'm hoping my sister's getting out of the oven right now, was you sauteed the mushrooms and onions that you used for meal four, which
mhm.
was for that bake. You used half of that for a pot pie. So you took the mushrooms, onions, some of the chicken,
Mhm,
and then we cut up more carrots because we used up all the vegetables at this
mhm.
point, and made like a gravy, put that in the bottom of a skillet, and then on top of that, you put a cornbread. Like you open
Ooh.
made a batch of cornbread and drop the cornbread on top. That's coming out of the oven now.
Mhm,
It was absolutely delicious. And they were all, now I haven't tried those two tonight, but I mean, all the other meals were absolutely delicious. And I realized that they're on to something. She's really
mhm,
on to something with that because even when I tell myself, well, if we have chicken on Sunday, then we're going to have chicken and dumplings on Tuesday, it's a whole sequence, it's a whole intentional plan that
mhm.
can really save you a lot of time
Oh,
and
yeah.
money. So it was really a lot of fun too. And it was so much fun cooking with my sister too.
Yeah. Oh, it sounds wonderful, and the meals are divine.
My
And,
husband couldn't believe it.
yeah, I'm thinking the casseroles, you really could, like for me, I could prepare the casseroles and put them in the freezer
Mhm.
and have them ready for that next night because,
Right. Like
then I
if you were
could.
going to cook it the next week, you could just
Mhm,
make the casserole and then make the cornbread and put it on top
mhm.
the day you're going to cook it.
Yeah, and be ready to go. So, that I love that. I love a time saver and money saver. There
Mhm.
goes back to our pillars. We're
Mhm.
saving time, we're saving money, and we've got some delicious food. How about that?
Yeah, exactly. It was really good. So on here on our worksheets, we've got you guys, if this is your next step, we've got you thinking about how you can sequence a meal yourself, if that's your next step.
Mhm. And I think it's really beneficial to do that. And in looking at pathway 2 where we're strengthening the pantry, at this point most of us have probably done the audit
Mhm.
and looked at. For me, I was took everything out, not intentionally, but ended up with everything out, and I was able to see where the gaps were.
Mhm.
And sometimes it's not until you take everything out of the pantry and start to put it back in that you can really see what's missing. And so, also, it was a new experience because as I was putting things in, I was looking to see, okay, how many meals can I make from the pantry that I have for the family? And how long would it last? And that's an important thing to know because if your pantry, if you just have things in the pantry because somebody said you should have this in the pantry, that's not a good move. You got to make sure that the things you have in your pantry are things that you will cook
Mhm.
and prepare for your family, and that you can put together and bring it together to make a meal.
And
To
that your family will eat it.
Absolutely.
Because
I
if you invite me over for dinner and you have fish for dinner, all I'm going to eat is the vegetables.
exactly. Exactly.
You want to make sure that you have something that your family will eat. So I think, Leona, what you brought up a good point is that each person's pantry is individual.
Mhm.
Your
Mhm.
pantry is going to look different from my pantry, even though we are both like similar in age. We
Mhm.
live in different parts of the country, so different parts of the country tend to eat different kinds of foods, so we
Mhm.
cook differently. My husband will eat things that your husband may or may not eat,
Mhm.
etc. um so, and I know you cook a lot of seafood, that kind of
Mhm.
thing, which I don't cook seafood at all.
Right.
He wants seafood, he makes it himself.
Mhm.
So, and then if you've got children, if you've got
Exactly.
teenagers, then
Mhm.
your pantry needs to reflect your season of life. And I
Mhm.
see here Hazel said that she found doing the pantry audit was very helpful and that she's under budget for the first time in a while. So that is good.
That is wonderful.
Tutu is still without an oven.
Oh, no.
She mentioned that I think once
She
before.
did. She did.
So she's limited to the top of the stove, the range, and then the toaster oven until they get their new oven put in.
Okay. Well, that's doable.
Hmm.
That's certainly doable.
Um, so she's audited and cleaned out half of her pantry now.
Good. Good.
And then DJ Whitmore, she said she's going to be listening while she puts her grocery order away, and boom, she's still under budget.
Yay.
Hmm.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Let's see.
Let's see.
Oh, here we go.
Sierra.
Sierra.
So during this challenge, she said she learned how much systems matter. She said she has 3 young children, 4, 2, and 7 months, and fine tuning her system with groceries and food really helped to free up her time.
Boom.
Ah, yay!
That's
That
amazing.
is wonderful. And that's what it's all about.
And that's another good example of your pantry needs to reflect your season of life.
That's right. That's
Mhm.
right.
I wonder, Sierra, you said it really helped to free up some time. I wonder if you started ordering your groceries or what. I'm just kind of curious about that.
Mm-hmm.
And then Christine says she's using the shopping list week one from your winter guide.
Mm-hmm.
$40 depending upon spices. Week two, $44. Prices at, oh, wow. She
All
said,
right.
it's done and the ladies are showing the way. Boom.
Yay! Woohoo!
Yeah. So you've been giving them a grocery list of like $40 a week. And so if
I
they just
did.
purchase those items, wow.
I
Way to
gave them the
go.
grocery list and the recipes
Hmm.
for each night's meal. Aw.
Now that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, wow. Oh, Hazel was surprised that not going to the store several days definitely saved her money.
Hmm.
All right. You know, going to the grocery is just a big temptation. All
And then
right.
Kim says paying attention to her spending. That was helpful.
Yes, yes.
Oh, this is interesting. Andrea says the thing that surprised her was the amount of time that was freed up by knowing ahead of time what was going to be made.
Wow. Now that's something, you really don't think about that at first.
Hmm.
And that's something you kind of have to look back on and realize, wow, I had time to do something else
Hmm.
because they had that already done. So that's wonderful.
Sierra loved the pantry audits, didn't realize how much good meat she had in the freezer,
Mhm.
decided to do a quick pantry audit weekly to see what's going on in the pantry. I think that's a great idea.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. And that is a really good plan.
And then you can just shop your freezer, like shop your
There
four
you go.
corners pantry.
Hmm. And then just pick up whatever you use up. And that comes back to your, if you have, what is it? one is none.
Yeah,
Uh,
2 is 1 and
two
1
is
is none.
one and one is none. There we go.
Hey,
Well,
here's
Kentucky
Stephen.
Stevens here with us tonight. Yay!
He says, "Thank you, Miss Denise. Followed your idea last week about putting meals together with what you have in the pantry." He said he was able to make 20 meal combos from what he had. Thanks to oh,
Ooh,
wow, that's pretty good. 20 meal combos.
wonderful.
Mm, mm.
Wonderful.
Way to go, Stephen.
Oh, and Kimberly's here.
Mm-hmm.
She said what surprised her the most was how intentional it made her. No quick stops by the store. Hubby was surprised by how empty our fridge was by the end of a week. you're,
Yes.
you're
Was it
abs-
using what's in there?
yes, you were actually using. And that was one of the things we talked about earlier was the fact that if you buy it, you use it.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is wonderful. She said she finished under budget and honestly not as hard as expected. She definitely saved money. Oh, that's great.
Here's TJ.
Yeah, Tam in. Wonderful. She saved money. Yay. And found out that she sometimes automatically weekly shops out of habit versus necessity. By being more intentional with using what she already had made a huge difference in the pocketbook.
I like it.
I like that. That's
Yeah.
wonderful. That is wonderful.
And then Tutu stocked up on tomato products and pasta this past week. Her
Mm.
grandson will always say yes to pasta, but she only bought one piece of salmon this week as she is still using up meat in the freezer.
All right. All right.
And then Christine, the challenge taught her the importance of making a plan, even if you deviated from it. Oh,
Mhm,
how did we get that one
mhm.
already?
I don't know how you got there, down there, but that's okay because that was good to hear.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Tiffany.
go ahead.
Tiffany was surprised with how many meals she can make with what's in her pantry. She thinks doing this challenge for a month has helped her to build new habits in actually using the pantry items she has. I
Mm.
think that's saying a lot right there, too.
It is. It is. And part of what we're doing too, having done this over 4 weeks, is that we get into the rhythm of it.
Hmm.
And so we're back to that question. Now what? Now, what are we going to do? We're in the rhythm of it. Are we going to keep the rhythm going and continue with it? We might have to tweak just a little bit,
Hmm.
but we should be able to keep it moving. Click on Kathleen Handsome right under Tiffany. She's here from Seattle. She was with us last week. And so she said she had watched us, I think, by replay. And
Oh,
last week she got to come on, and she's back tonight. Yay, glad to have you.
yes, thank you. And then here's Hillary. She says she's doing fine now, had some health problems, but she's much better now. Back to be glad with all her friends in the chat. Hillary, we are glad to have you back. You have been missed.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Absolutely.
and look, here's
You
our really
are really,
feminist.
yay.
She is back.
All right. We got Lori, who's here with us, and considering the seasonal vegetables and fruit, pantry staples like stuffing for autumn meals, consider holiday sale foods and the possibilities of entertaining. Now,
Yes.
all of that is a definite plus.
Oh, Lori says she enjoys doing a library cookbook challenge. History-based recipes can be helpful for budget planning meals. That is true. That is
True.
very true.
That's true.
Okay. Oh, well, we have Hillary who wants to know. She hasn't been with us for a while.
Oh, that's
She
true.
wants to know what is a modern home economist. And a modern home economist is one who plans intentionally, who
Mhm.
looks at her budget, who looks at time, looks
Mhm.
at finances, and looks at all the various systems that makes up her home. And let me just see. I don't think I have
Did
that.
we put that in tonight? I'm not sure that we did.
We have it. Well, this is. I'm going to.
Yes, yes.
There we go.
Okay.
So this. So this is our framework for the
Mhm,
modern home economist, and what we believe is that you have food systems, you have time systems, and then you have home systems, which is, your homekeeping, that kind of thing,
mhm,
with the overarching system of money for a well supported home. That's
mhm.
what we say a modern home economist is. So, what happened here? Okay. So we said that's what a modern home economist is. And it's like you look at all of those pieces that come together to
Mhm.
make a home, but also to be able to run a home successfully.
Absolutely. And we want to be able to do it in such a way, we are looking at it intentionally, and we are also looking at it in a way that we are good stewards of what we have
Right.
and being able to use it to enrich our family and not only just to, we understand, money is always an issue. And
Hmm.
all of those systems, money fuels into each one of those. Time
Hmm.
affects money. Food is affected by money. Home, our keeping up with our homes is affected by money. But we want to be able to have a well supported home. We do not want to use an excessive amount of money if possible. And of course, if you have it, you can use it, but everyone doesn't, and everyone's home is going to look a little different.
Yes.
But just to be able to stay within the four pillars of food, time, home, and money gives us a well rounded, well balanced system of being able to care for those we love. And
And the
that's
other thing too is
Mhm.
we're not expecting perfection.
No,
We're
not
not expecting that at all.
mm-mm, mm-mm. And so we came up with the line that we don't drift. We, what do we do, Miss Denise?
We decide.
We we decide.
We don't
We
drift.
make decisions. And what has happened with the challenge is that those who have participated didn't drift
Nope.
and they were decisive in what they did. They had a plan, they stuck to it, and they decided that they were going to make a change, and they
Hmm.
did.
Hmm.
And so, that's very exciting. So, we're all modern home economists.
Right.
And, we're not creating something that happens overnight. We are changing every day, but
Hmm.
we're changing for the better. And we are trying to make sure that the things that we're doing are a benefit to both ourselves as well as our family.
And here's the thing, too. It's not as if we're expecting you to learn something new,
Mm-mm,
because some of these
mm-mm,
ideas are very traditional. They might have
mm-mm,
come from things we learned years ago from our own mothers, or even when we took home economics in school, but we're
mhm,
applying it today in a modern perspective.
mhm.
Because families are not like they were in 1950. Families are a little bit different now. So
That's true.
so that's where we are there. Let me just back up too, because we've missed a couple of things. So we were talking about the pathway number two. Someone learned the lesson that they need to strengthen their pantry. And when we talk about the four corners pantry, we're talking about your fridge, your
Mhm,
freezer, your working pantry, which is the one you're in and out of all the time, usually in the kitchen, and then your extended pantry or your prepper pantry. And some of you found some gaps. And so for you, rather than to start the meal sequencing that we mentioned for path one, maybe you've decided that for you, you need to strengthen your pantry. And so what you're going to consider doing is maybe setting aside a budget to purposefully do that, and then looking at the gaps that you have. And then as was it Christine pointed out earlier with the littles,
Uh-huh.
you want
Mhm.
to make sure your pantry reflects your season of life. So for my season of life, we got a little fur baby, and it's just me and Huddy here, or my sister's here right now, but we're all adults. For
Mhm.
Christine's season of life, instead of a little fur baby, she's got three toddlers, or three
Mhm.
children, that kind of thing.
Mhm.
So Miss Leona is just her and hubby there. But everyone's, I think with TJ, she's got some
She's
preteens and
oh
then
yeah.
some school
And
age.
then
So everybody's pantry is going to be a little bit different. So
mhm.
make sure you address that. Anything else about this, Miss Leona?
Well, and I'm glad you brought that up because I can't remember who it was, but one of our viewers had said one night that I think it was Bashua, who said that her family, it was something about beans. It may not have been Bashua, but they were saying they were not about to touch beans. And whereas we use beans, we have used beans for whatever the meal may be. And that's a good bulk builder as well as protein. And
Mm-hmm.
so, but she was saying because she has children, younger children, that wouldn't work for her. And so that goes back to talking about our season of life. When
Mm-hmm.
the kids were here and they were young, they wouldn't have touched it either. The menus, the recipes and the menus have had to change over the years. And it's because as they've matured, their taste buds have expanded.
Mm-hmm.
So now I even noticed that with the grandchildren, normally when the grands are here, I have to go back to that day of the children being here and cook those types of meals. Whereas now they're they've expanded their taste buds, and so they're starting to eat things that Papa and I would have,
Mm-hmm.
so which helps and keeps things more in rhythm with what we would normally do. But finding the gaps. I'm curious, did anyone find gaps? I don't think anyone really talked about the gaps that might have been in their pantry when they started to look at their pantry. What were you missing? You might have been like me. I found I was missing meat. The proteins out of my regular pantry, where I typically keep canned meat, just in case there's an emergency. And we had a situation where we couldn't open the freezer and for a day. And so because of that, I had to go in the pantry and start taking a few things out. And so it's always good to have a backup, so
Mm-hmm.
that should you need, because you don't know until it happens that there's going to be an emergency. And so we can throw things in the crock pot, throw things. And I see that Tiffany's talking about that she's saying that that's what she has to do too. She'll get chicken on sale, cook all of it in the crock pot, prepare one meal with it, and freeze the rest, because they have to have the variety. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what I was talking about. I have to have the variety each week, but I've got chicken already prepared. I've got beef already prepared that's sitting in the freezer. So when I get ready for a meal the following week, it's ready to go. So, Tiffany, I'm with you. I got to have the variety. So she seems like she said if you meal prep many proteins week after week in this way, there are plenty of pre-cooked proteins. Woo-hoo!
Mm-hmm.
In the freezer. She said it works for us. Plus, it makes it simpler for the children to practice cooking. That's absolutely right, because then they're not having to start totally from scratch, but you can give them a recipe and they can work with it. Oh, I love.
Oh, look at this. Oh, Christine, thank you.
Oh.
She says, Hillary, she says, the modern home economist is the collab between me and Miss Leona, and it's their movement as she sees it to orient it toward building homemaking and money market skills.
Thank you, Christine.
I
Woo-hoo. That
love it.
sounds so important, doesn't it, Miss Denise?
Mhm.
But I
It
love it.
does.
That's sweet.
Oriented for building skills that carry our homes. Thank you. And
I like that.
actually, that's what we're trying to do.
Absolutely.
Excuse
Absolutely.
me.
I love it.
Speaking of the kids, Tiffany says she's found it easier for her to say yes to letting the kids help when meals are planned and she knows what she needs to make the meal. That makes a lot of sense too.
That is a wise lady because
Mhm.
when they're involved, what they plan, they will eat. Okay.
So Tutu said she watches Becoming a Farm Girl to get recipe ideas, but she has to reduce the size of her meals and cuts out some of the dark greens.
Okay.
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 Uh, can I email the weekly dinner rhythm framework? All you have to do is click on it, I think, Hillary, in the
It's in both
description.
of our boxes.
It's in both of our boxes. It's in both of our boxes. Just have to click on it and you should be able to get it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, let's see. All items on Miss Leona's Winter Entertaining Guide, week 3 are under $40 at Walmart, including oil and spices. Girl, you're doing it over there.
Woohoo!
Oh, thank you, Sierra. Thank you. We appreciate that.
Oh, that is wonderful. Thank you. Thank you.
So Kim says she's building systems instead of just bulk buying. Oh,
Mhm.
boom.
I love it. I
Up
love
on that.
it.
Yes. Because that was the thing we were talking about last week, in that
Mhm.
we're not just buying random ingredients.
Mhm.
These ingredients have to work together to make a set of meals. So yes, this is important that we can do that. So we are trying to be helpful, and it is our mission to help you homemakers figure some things out. Hey, look who's here. Frank Jackson.
Hi, Frank.
Hi, Frank. How
Oh
you
my
doing?
goodness.
Nice to have you here. So
Um,
I think this is Shonda.
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 Rashonda. Rashonda.
Roshonda.
Mhm.
She work on planning meals,
Mhm.
pantry organized, and she knows how much meat and seafood she's got, but she still has decision fatigue because she didn't plan meals. Now I am going to pop that off,
Mhm.
and I'm going to go back here
Mhm.
and I'm going to enlarge that. And
Yes.
when we talk about this weekly dinner rhythm framework, it
Mhm.
reduces decision fatigue, helps you stretch ingredients wisely, and helps you cook with intention, building repeatable systems. So you want to be sure to download that.
Absolutely. And in play where the examples are, you can just write in those protein items that you have, what
Mhm.
your protein items are. And then just move on to step 2, which is going to give you the option of being able to put in what you want to make with them. So you can look at whatever your bulk builders are going to be, whether
Mhm.
it's potatoes, whether it's pasta, whether it's cauliflower, whatever it's
Yeah.
going to be that you may put in, and it will move you through that meal. And then you're by the end of this, you're able to come out with a framework that gives you your week already printed right there, that you have worked out. And if you can do that for 1 week, it will make it so easy for you to move right on into week 2. And it doesn't take long. Once you get that first week done, you will find that each week it's easy to go in. And once you once you make the decision as to what your protein is going to be, it's just a matter of going to your pantry, looking to see what bulk builders that you have, what you want to use. And if you want something different each day, rice one day, pasta one day, potatoes one day, whatever it may be, frozen, whatever frozen vegetables you might have, typically onions and garlic, spices kind of, go with your seasonings and flavorings, but it gives you an opportunity to be able to put those meals together very easy. But it is something that you have you I won't say you have to, because you don't have to do anything, but it's something that it would be very helpful to you to do intentionally. And
Mm-hmm.
if you can do that intentionally for at least a week, then you'll find that you'll have you'll have time, and you won't have that decision fatigue. It will come together. It brings itself together. That's what's nice. It
Yeah.
puts your meal together for you. And it's just a matter then of preparing it.
So then pathway three for some of you, and it sounds like it could be a good one for um,
Rashonda.
Rashonda, is to master 5 repeatable meals, something that's
Mhm,
easy that she could just put on repeat. And just, once she does those 5, then maybe add a 6th and then add a 7th one, but
mhm,
just kind of have a little rotation of
mhm,
what those meals can be. Because
mhm,
now that you know what's in your pantry, plan those 5 meals and just put them on repeat. Then you don't have to think about it. Put them up on a
right.
little board. This is what we're having, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever. And maybe one of them, like for example, if you do spaghetti, maybe you've got enough spaghetti that you can have it for 2 nights. Or maybe you
Mhm,
do a pot
mhm,
pie or some soup or tacos or whatever. Maybe
mhm,
you do a roasted chicken and you have half the roasted chicken one night and then you have some leftovers for another night. But put those meals on repeat and think
mhm.
about what you can do with your leftovers. And one of the things that I like that Cassandra says is planned overs, not leftovers,
Landovers. That's right.
planned overs. What do
Yes.
you plan to do with those? Now, depending upon the size of your family, you may not have any planned overs. You may have to have
Mhm,
something different, but then
mhm.
you just start your sequence all over again.
Yeah. Well, back in the day, I don't know about your mom, but I know my mom had a certain meal for Monday, and it was every Monday. A certain meal on Sunday, it was fried chicken always.
Hmm.
On Saturday, it was always something to do with either hamburgers or chili or
Hmm.
something like that. Friday was usually fish. Wednesday night was typically spaghetti. I can't remember what Tuesday was, because back in those days we didn't have Taco Tuesday.
Mm-mm.
But then we had a night that was strictly for leftovers. Whatever was in the refrigerator as leftovers, it either came back as something new, or she just warmed them up depending on time or what she had going on. But it was consistent. It was easy for her grocery shopping because she knew what she needed. And so that may be a good idea for Rashonda to get into a plan of being able to say, okay, on Monday nights, we're going to have this, and just make that consistent. You know that Monday is Monday night, we have so and so.
Hmm.
Sunday, like I typically have some type of chicken, and sometimes it's roasted, sometimes it's not, but always chicken. And so what I do with that is that I know I'm going to take a portion of that out, and I'm going to, down the line, if not that week, down the line, there's going to be another chicken dish that's going to come from that. So you have leftover chicken.
Hmm.
And so it may be that the second week, you may not actually have to cook the chicken because you got leftover chicken that you can prepare a chicken meal from. So that makes it easy. So get those 5 repeatable meals that you can have. And when you cook them, I would suggest that you large batch it at first.
Hmm.
Do a large batch. If you're going to make spaghetti sauce, make a large batch of spaghetti sauce. And then that way you have some for that night and some for another night.
Hmm.
And same goes with the chicken. If you can afford to if you're going to bake chicken, Don't just bake one, bake two.
Two.
And then you've got additional chicken for later on. The same goes with soups and even the taco meat. You can
Mhm.
prepare that taco meat in advance and have it ready to go. So think initially large batch and divide it and freeze.
It sounds like your winter entertainment guide could be something good to grab too, because Christine
Mhm.
is saying how you've got the recipes and you've got the list of the grocery list that they can do each week. So that might be another option. But certainly make a list of something that you could make each night of the week based on what you've got in your pantry, because you've already done the audit. You know
Yeah.
what you've got in there. So now
Mhm.
figure out what meals you can make from what's in there and then just put them on repeat. Just put them
Mhm.
on repeat.
Mhm. And plus, too, it keeps you from having to buy proteins every week.
Hmm.
And that's a money saver because that's typically the most expensive part of your grocery shop anyway, is going to be
Hmm.
the meat.
So Frilly Feminist says her bills are about to go up, but she does that on purpose. They have a local family-owned fruit and veggie market that's open from March to
Oh.
October. So she likes to buy more fresh local produce when it's available. And then she'll
Ah,
get extra and freeze it for the winter.
hmm,
Summer cherries in January. Oh yeah. Yeah.
yes.
Hmm.
Oh, that sounds good.
And then Dahlia Rose is with us, and Dahlia says
Oh,
it's incredibly what intentionality will do. Having a large family, she was kind of resigned to having a ballooning grocery budget, but putting forethought into her weekly meal prep really helps a lot. So good, Dahlia Rose. Good, good, good.
yay. That's great advice. Great advice. I love that.
And then Roshonda said one additional thing she found out was how important it is to label things that are in the freezer bags. She put things in assuming she'd be able to tell what it was, but once it's frozen, it looks completely different.
That's true. That is so true.
So yeah, so make sure you label whatever's in the freezer.
Oh,
Oh, yes. Let her say hi to us. She says her 7-year-old enjoys listening in and would like to say hello. Well, hello to
you are
Dahlia
too
Rose's
cute.
baby
I
girl.
love it.
Hmm. Oh, Elisa said she got bologna and hot dogs, 88 cents each. Wow, you really stocked up. That's a good
She,
bargain.
you did. Oh my goodness, that's wonderful. And well, summer's coming. Christine said, this is funny. Christine said in high school, home economics consisted of carrying around a flour sack baby. I remember that.
Mhm.
And so glad to be building these important skills thanks to these women. Oh, Christine, thank you. Well, we hope the flour sack baby, which we did do, and in fact, we had to keep an egg,
Oh,
and we had to dress up the egg. And if you broke the egg, the poor baby, there it went. And we had to carry it around all through classes. We had to take it home. We had to bring it back. Needless to say, when that egg broke, it was not pleasant.
so Dad Whitmore says she had to adjust her plan. Hubby was diagnosed as diabetic, so
Oh,
makes you build your meals differently. And yes, you do.
yes, it
But
does.
here's the thing, though, too, DJ. You can still have pasta and different
Mhm,
things, but you have to focus more on portion sizes with that
mhm.
diabetes. So
Yeah.
there's some things, as far as like orange juice, I think they say orange
Mhm,
juice. They do serve diabetics orange juice.
mhm.
Get like a little 4-ounce cup.
Yes, a little thimbleful.
Yeah, so you're definitely going to be looking more at portion sizes in that regard. And yep, you got to build some things differently.
That's true. That's true.
Let's see.
Uh,
So, Roshan had gaps in rice, canned meat, and canned vegetables. What did you
okay.
spot?
Hmm?
What did you spot? Because I could tell you were about to
Oh,
say,
I saw what you saw with Rashonda, where she was
okay,
talking about the gaps. Sierra's talking about her gaps too. She said they're missing gaps in her shelf stable meats as well, but fully stocked in the freezer. Okay. This is on her April grocery list to see about picking up a little at a time. And
okay,
that's true. And you probably, um, I know I was able to catch tuna on sale. Chicken wasn't on sale at all. And oh my gosh, cans of beef have skyrocketed.
yeah.
So, we may have to kind of wait until, we might see a little light at the end of the tunnel with that part of it. But those things that you can pick up now because we just don't know what tomorrow is going to hold.
Sierra, that is so cute. Mama's having her learning time. I like it.
It's cute.
Um, DJ says her husband must be the big guy's brother. She has the same challenge.
I hear you. I hear you. You're
Oh,
absolutely right.
wow. It's sugar. She usually
Mm,
avoids it for her health and
mhm.
ran out of it on purpose, hoping that she could switch her husband to her raw agave nectar as a healthier option, but didn't go according to plan. Because if your husband is like my husband when it comes to YouTube, he will tell me in a minute, you signed up for YouTube, not me. So
Mhm.
your husband's probably thinking, you got the health problem, not me. So I still
He
need,
needs his sugar.
yeah, just in moderation.
Yes. Aw. Her DJ. Oh yeah, DJ. Her grandmother is diabetic, and it definitely does change things. But it's not too hard once you get used to it. If he likes pasta, maybe try chickpea pasta. It's got a lot more protein and fiber, and that's true. The thing about as you start to use more vegetable-based pasta, it's going to be more about the texture
Mhm.
and how it's cooked or how long you cook it. So be sure to read the boxes because what you don't want to end up with is mush. And
And if
sometimes
you go
that
with
can happen.
portion sizes, the portion might be that big.
That's true. That's true. And he may be a little bit disappointed at first.
Mhm.
So you'll have to have a lot of veggie volume around that.
Michelle,
Michelle,
you.
we
Oh,
were
it's
talking
so
about
good to
you
see you.
and we hadn't seen you. We're so
Thank you
glad
for
you're
joining us.
Yes, yes, yes. Aw,
Always good to see you. Thank you.
absolutely.
So Tiffany's gap was flour and sugar, ran out of bread and wanted to make some and muffins, but she ran out of flour and sugar. Okay. Well,
Okay.
now you know what you need to stock up on.
Mhm, mhm.
And then he preferred to not have coffee at all instead of trying the agave. Hey, I'm the same way. Like,
Yeah,
when I'm having coffee, I got to have my creamer. If I don't have any cream, then I just won't drink coffee.
yeah, I'm pretty much the same way.
Mhm.
If I can't have it the way I like it, I don't want it.
Yeah. So Roshana has printed and downloaded the file. Good, good. So you
Good.
just got that. So you see here where you just have to click on the link and you can download it.
Mhm.
And she
Aw,
says she just popped in to say hi. Well, hi back at you. We are
thank
getting back.
you.
And Michelle, I have a cat. Or I
Mhm.
should say a cat has me.
Has her.
That's more like it. She has 3 cats and a catio. Her husband built this nice little catio, like a patio for cats.
Mhm.
So I was going to call you one day just to ask you questions about this doggone cat. Let's see.
Aw,
Um,
Hillary. Yeah.
I got a couple on there. I don't know how new they might be to you, but I'm not carrying as many as I used to. But yeah, I got a few on there. She says she uses her apron all the time, cooking, baking, cleaning, and crafting. That's what they're for.
Yes, yes. Oh, that
And then Tutu, stable proteins.
mhm,
Okay. Canned yellowfin tuna, corned
mhm.
beef hash. Okay. And spam.
Mhm.
Was watching Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris the other day. It was either on Netflix or Prime. I can't remember which one.
Uh-huh.
Sitting in her kitchen by herself eating spam. I was like, look at that. She's eating spam. Me and my sister just had to laugh because she was eating spam. Spam is making a comeback right now.
It is because it doesn't cost as much as many of the other varieties of canned meats.
Mhm.
And of course, those people who are from Hawaii, they eat it all the time.
Mm,
And that's really, I think, where it kind of originated from. Spam is a big thing in Hawaii. And
okay.
in fact, they had a whole segment on Food Network that was in Hawaii, designated in Hawaii, and they were looking at how they use spam. It's amazing the things that they do with spam.
Mhm.
And so, it's up and coming, as we should say.
Yes. And then Tutu's waiting for basmati rice to go on sale again to stock up.
Okay.
Yeah, you might
Okay.
be waiting for a little bit too.
Hmm.
And then Kim says, yes, labels help. Make sure you label, label, label,
Oh, yes.
label, label, label.
Okay, Psalms 146 says she wonders if after they moved, it might be feasible to organize the pantry according to meals.
Hmm.
That's really totally up to you. Maybe in separate bins as opposed to how it's being arranged by category. And that may certainly be an option. I did mine by following the 4-part plan where I have the proteins in a basket, the bulk items are in their baskets, the vegetables are in their basket, and did it that way. But if it works better, because in fact I think Cassandra has baskets that she uses, and each week she has a basket for each day. She
Mhm.
puts whatever needs to go with each meal in the basket and places it into can and all in the refrigerator so that she knows when she pulls out that basket, she has everything there that she needs to prepare the meal. And so baskets are very helpful,
That's a
very
good
helpful.
idea because when I was pulling out some things for tonight's meal, somebody had opened the cheese and had used part of it. But when you're organizing your pantry shelf, though, you could have a couple of maybe extra bins or a section of it that, like for your meals for the week, maybe, for
Mhm,
example, and have
mhm,
the baskets. Okay, so this week we're going to have blah, 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 blah for dinner and put
mhm.
those things in the basket so that when you're ready, just pull the basket off of there for those items.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. I
Hmm.
like that idea.
Let's see what else.
Go down to Delightfully His. She says she's going back to the weeknight themed meals.
Mm.
And she said hubby doesn't like baked chicken. He calls it wet. She has to start putting it on a rack to reduce moisture. Soup,
Oh,
casseroles are also a no go, too. Ah,
well,
that's
the
right.
roasted chicken is
Hmm.
not wet, right? If you
Not
roasted it,
mine.
it shouldn't be wet. It'll be
Right.
more crackly and the skin will be
Hmm.
kind of dry and crackly. So it shouldn't be wet.
If she bakes it on a more of a rack,
Hmm.
if you put it on a rack, then the juices are going to fall away from it and it will be more crispy. The skin will be
Right.
crispy, everything will
That's
be
what I meant,
crispy.
crispy instead of dry.
So
Crispy.
it's not so wet. He may think of it because if it sits in the juices, then a portion of it will be, more gravy like,
Mm.
more au jus.
And
So,
he didn't like soups or casseroles.
wow.
Well, you got to make it work for you.
Yeah, you tell him, okay, let's sit down and let's figure out a menu, what you do like, and take those things that he does like, and that's what you plan for your week.
Hmm. Hmm.
Hmm. Hmm.
What kind of canned beef does everyone buy? I buy Grable country beef just because that's what I started buying when I started
Hmm.
buying canned protein.
Hmm.
And the Grable country beefs are beef. Um, It's probably about 30, 45 minutes away from here. So it's almost a lot like a local family owned business. We got a big
Mhm,
Amish population here, and
mhm,
it's made by an Amish community. So
mhm.
I buy that. But you can buy it all across the country because Kroger
Right.
and Walmart's.
Kroger has it.
So you
Mhm,
can get it anywhere. And then
mhm.
I heard that Keystone was pretty good. Did I see some Keystone on your shelf when you were doing your pantry?
Mm-mm,
No.
mm-mm.
I saw
No.
Keystone on somebody's shelf I was looking at. Oh,
Mhm.
that was I can't think of her name now.
Um,
But the one that teaches people how to preserve produce. He had Keystone.
I know who you're talking about. I know who you're talking about. I can't think of her name, but I know exactly who you're talking about. So, what I would suggest that you do too is to um, look in your particular store, see what they have, and it may be that you may try a brand
Mhm,
and see if you like it. And because I know I've used several brands, and I had to do that until I found one that I really liked.
mhm,
And then once you find it, it's really more about the texture, not
mhm.
so much about the flavor, because you're going to add the flavor profile, but it's about texture. And so I would suggest trying, different kinds until you find the one you like. But in a crunch, it goes. All of them go well in a soup,
Yes.
and or chili or any of that works great. Works great.
And just to back up for a little bit, if you have just joined us, I am Miss Denise from Homemaking with Denise, and with me is my sister from another Mr.
I- I'm Leona Dooley from Ebony, Ivy, and Time.
And we are the modern home economists. And tonight's show, we are wrapping up our grocery challenge that we carried on for the last 4 weeks. And we're kind of summarizing that. And one of the things that we are encouraging people to do is to consider um, taking advantage of our weekly dinner rhythm framework. And this is something that is from the two of us, the modern
Mhm,
home economists. And you can put together some of the things we've been talking about this week. So, and it's in the description box on both of our channels. So be sure to um, check that out.
mhm. I
Okay, let's see.
absolutely. Um, Miss Griffin, do you see her at 8:52? Oh, okay.
Look at that.
Roasted livers over spam.
Uh-uh.
Oh
Roasted
no!
lizards. That's the
Oh,
lizard.
oh. Okay.
She doesn't like spam. Oh
She
my
doesn't
goodness.
like spam at all. Okay.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Um,
Uh,
is canned salmon any good? Fish
well,
is my kryptonite.
it's
Actually,
good if you like fish. To me,
yeah.
it's kryptonite.
She Miss Denise does not like fish.
I'm
Now,
right there with you.
canned salmon, you can make delicious salmon patties. You can use, now I like to use the salmon as well in I have a seafood um, soup that I do. And see, she's over a frown, and that's all right. Don't look at her. Just act like she's not over there. And but it is absolutely delicious. But it has a basis of salmon that goes in it at the last minute, which makes it very hearty. It's got shrimp, it's got crab, it's got all kinds of fun things in it. But it gives you an opportunity to be able to use some of your seafood. And canned salmon works great. It makes a great salad. If you want a seafood salad, you could certainly use the canned salmon for that as well.
Croquettes.
Yes, salmon croquettes. Mm-hmm.
Now, when I was a girl, I had to eat fish. We had salmon croquettes. My parents went fishing. They caught fish. We cleaned them. I had an old school mother, and what she put on the table, you ate. So I
That's
ate
right.
fish when I was a girl.
Mm-hmm.
Order myself when I grow up. I ain't gotta eat that. I'm grown up now, so I don't eat that. However, I'm married to the big fisherman of the Midwest. So I do purchase some canned fish so that I have it on the shelf for him because my shelf has to feed both of us. And whenever the kids come home for vacation or to visit or whatever, he does a big fish fry and everybody's eating fish and I'm eating some chicken or I'm just eating the potato, whatever. But you have to make your pantry work for you. So Frilly, if you don't eat fish, don't buy fish. However, if you have family members who do, then buy things for them so that they can have it and you just don't eat it the night that you make it. But yeah,
have a backup.
yeah, have a
But
backup.
it is good to have on the shelf.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, Frilly Feminist said that. Okay, thanks. She's been meaning to try salmon, salmon Caesar salad. Yes, delicious. And do we have a preferred brand? I'm trying to. I can see it. It's in the red can. And no, I can't think of the name of it. Frilly, if you remind me sometime this week, shoot a comment down in the main comments and I will give you the brand. But I know it's in a red can and I have used it for 50 years, and it's really good. Okay.
So Kim was asking about Grable, and so I wanted her to see how you spelled that. So I put that in there. And then pray your way through salmon patties, canned salmon. So she does it just like you do. And then, of course, Frilly says she's been meaning to try salmon on Caesar salad. And do you have a preferred brand? Oh, you just mentioned that. And so, yes, you can buy cooked ground beef. Grable Country Meats has cooked ground beef. I don't know if Keystone does or not, but I do know Grable Country Meats has cooked ground beef, and I use that to make chili. I've used it to make beef Manhattan and things like that. It's very good. As their standard, yes, some people buy that. That's a good quality meat as well.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, you live in Seattle, so you live out, like the coastal areas where there's water and stuff. So yeah, like I said, I'm married to the big fisherman of the Midwest. So there's the Grable Country Meats. And Deb, I am right there with you.
Girls.
I do help. So now one of his friends had come by one day and they had been fishing. They came back, they were pulling the boat up, and I'm looking to see what they got. And I said, well, do we have fish to clean? And his friends started laughing like, what you gonna do? I said, I help, and I do help.
And she does. Yeah.
I bought him a table for Father's Day one year. He cleaned it in the garage. It's got like a little hose and all this stuff that he does. But then when he brings it in, once he's got all the processing and whatever done, and then he has it all dried off and ready, I help him bag it. I help him put it in freezer bags. So we vacuum seal it, and then it goes in the freezer. And then we fill up the freezer during the spring, summer, and fall to get ready for winter. And then that's the fresh fish he has all winter long. And then there's a couple of people who come by on their birthday. Can I have some fish? And he'll give some to his sisters or different people like that. But yeah, he does it. But I will help him with the cleanup. Like once we get it all vacuum sealed, he gets everything in the freezer. Then I will get out my Clorox kitchen cleanup, wipe the counter down, the sink down, wipe off my vacuum sealer. I'm just like scouring the sink and all that good stuff.
Because she didn't want to smell anything related to fish later. Tutu, this is great. She says she cuts Spam very small and it makes a great fried rice. And also as pineapple and Spam barbecue pizza. I haven't tried that.
When I was in college, I think one of my friends, Wanda Martin, she lived in Indianapolis. She eats Spam. And but college students, you broke. You eat everything.
That's right. Did you eat potted meat?
Yes, I've had that. Yes, yep.
Crackers. Oh yeah.
Like I said, college students, you broke. You eat everything.
Right.
Like
you eat anything that comes. You got it.
We had ramen noodles back then. So we ate potted meat and ginger snaps.
Oh, absolutely. Um, Hazel was, oh, Susie.
Susie, we are laughing and acting silly now. We have actually been quite serious earlier, but we're glad you're here, and you might want to catch the replay too because we were serious up until
Up
now.
until the end, we got to giggling over all the suggestions that have come about and funny
Mhm.
stories that have come about. But it's we're laughing because each of us, we're talking about each family being in their season and having a different composition of family, and what we like and what they don't like, what the hubbies like and what they don't like. And as you find out from family to family and as wives, and we may have a husband or two on here that from one household to the next, it can be quite interesting.
Yes. Look at this one: spam sauteed with bell peppers, garlic, Spanish olive.
Ooh, now that doesn't sound bad.
Well,
Mm,
you know something else my husband likes to eat? Vienna sausages.
I used to. I
Those
I ate
things
them in college.
we ate. Well, I tried not to, but I put Vienna sausages on the same order of sardines, Vienna sausages, sardines, and spam. Yeah,
Listen.
sardines smell terrible. Vienna sausages smell terrible. I said, you eat that, you sleeping on the couch. Yeah, he'll buy those things and they take them fishing. They take them in their
Mhm,
lunch fishing. So yeah,
mhm.
they take them fishing. They eat a lot of them.
Yeah.
Oh, Hillary's husband is always spoiling her. He puts
Oh.
part four in a cooker and has 7 quarts, and she sautés brown steams and so. Her husband is
Ooh,
always getting her something nice.
that is nice.
Yes, I like it. No, I'm totally mad at you.
Ah,
That sounds
it
wonderful.
does. It does.
Yeah.
Man, it does
Yeah.
everything. Oh, that is nice.
Okay. Costco prices are down. Okay, now Kroger had chicken buy one get one free last week, but the
Mhm,
sale went off on Tuesday, so you must have missed it.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Andrea likes, or rather, Roshonda likes potted meat and Vienna sausages, but spam is just wrong. Mm-mm.
Oh,
Susie says she's blessed that her husband and children really aren't too picky. And yeah, it's nice when they're not.
yes,
So
you
yeah,
are
that is nice.
very blessed. Very blessed.
Very blessed. Well, listen, let me get my little self back on top because we've been having a good time, having fun. But we talked about, I'm going to back up just a little bit,
Mhm,
just for those who joined us a little bit late. But we were talking about what happens next after the challenge is over. We
mhm,
also wanted to know what were the lessons people had. So,
mhm,
what happens next really depends upon what the lessons you learned during your challenge. And we're suggesting that maybe for some of you, meal sequencing could be the next option where you
mhm,
choose an anchor and then plan 3 to 4 connected meals. And we have a printable that you can download. It is linked in our description boxes.
mhm,
And it puts you on the email list that we are building for the modern home economists.
mhm,
So it's in the description box below. So just, mine or hers, it's in both of them.
mhm.
The second pathway or option might be you need to strengthen your pantry. So we've been talking about that and having a lot of fun with it. And then the last one was that pathway three could be you might need to learn some repeatable meals because one
Mhm,
person in particular said that she did the audit, she knew what was in there, but now she had decision fatigue, and
mhm,
this could help with that.
mhm. Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
tonight's modern home economist moment, I will give you the honors.
Well, tonight's moment is that a modern home economist isn't the one who spends the least. Rather, it's the one who plans with wisdom. And that's a great thought
Mhm.
because it talks about intentionality, being intentional finding confidence. And as I've listened and read the various comments along the way, I can say that based on some of the comments that many of you made initially when we started the challenge versus what I'm hearing at this point, is
Mm-hmm.
that many of you have started to find that confidence in what you're doing. And those of you who are still a little unsure of yourself, I would encourage you to just keep at it,
Yes.
because don't give up, because this is an opportunity for you to be able to grow. And as you grow, you're gonna find that you may start with those 5 repeatable
Mhm.
meals, and before you know it, you'll have 10, and you'll move on to more.
And
So
that's the thing right there, because it's
Mhm,
not about like how many meals you can make and how much you spend. It's about building
mhm,
the confidence in yourself and in your systems. And you can do these things without stress. And if you don't have those 5 meals, think about what they might be. So when we think about overall, excuse me,
mhm,
the grocery challenge itself was not the goal.
mm-mm,
The goal itself was preparation,
mhm.
and then to help you figure out a rhythm for your home, and also to reduce decision fatigue. So once you get those 5 dependable meals, that's going to help with that.
Absolutely. And we are certainly we're becoming better stewards, and we're
Mhm.
doing it with intention. And so you want to be able to not only have the conversation, we're having our conversation here, but you want to take that conversation to your family and start to talk to them about the things that you're doing and what you're trying to do. And I know some of you have talked to your husbands, and the husbands have kind of gotten into it a little bit
Mhm.
of being able to work with you. And I hope that your plan, and I love Hazel's response here, because that's exactly where I'm going, in that you will continue with this plan. Even if you have to tweak the budget, it's okay. But continue with the process. And Hazel saying that she's going to continue with this plan,
Mhm.
because even though she budgets well, she has to learn how to do it even better. Hazel, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. A true modern home economist moment.
Mhm. Exactly.
All right. So Delightfully His says, love that. Because of recent events, she went over her budget, but she was using wisdom in buying the items that will last if things get worse. Her husband was okay with it, because we saw how um, certain things made food scarce.
Mhm.
And so, things are happening around us that we have no control over. But it
Mhm.
goes back to what we say, we don't drift,
We don't
we
drift. We
decide.
decide.
We have a plan, and we're sticking to it as tight as we can. We
Mhm.
might have to change the amounts that we spend, but our plan is still there.
Exactly. Exactly. So if you guys found this conversation helpful, please share it with another homemaker and
Mhm,
let us know in the comment section, not in the chat, because once we close out, we don't get to see the chat anymore. So
mhm,
leave us a comment in the comment section. What do you want to see from us next? What do you want the next things that for us to cover? Leona, I think this series has been great because I have learned so
mhm,
much. And that's what I see, is that I learned as much from the
mhm.
various sessions that we've covered as our viewers did.
And I'm learning from the viewers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They're really encouraging me as much as they're encouraging each other. And that's the nice thing. We might have a brainstorm and say, this is something, because something has been laid on us, and we'll start to work through it.
Mm-hmm.
But it really doesn't become a plan until we start to see how you respond to it and
Mm-hmm.
if it works for you. And so we've got like another challenge of some sort.
Yeah,
Well, we'll have to take a look at that and see where it leads us and what path it leads us down. I think we can do that.
I think
Well,
we can
Miss
do that.
Denise, wow, what an amazing night.
This was a great night. I had a lot of fun. We got some teaching in. We talked about
Mhm,
some important stuff,
mhm.
but we had a lot of fun just laughing and giggling as well. So I want to thank you guys
Absolutely.
for helping us with that.
Mhm,
And like I said earlier, if this was good for you, share it with someone else because
mhm,
someone else needs this information as well.
mhm.
Oh, cleaning routines. If we're open to that,
Oh,
we can certainly talk
we
about
could
it.
we
We
could
can
talk
leave
about that.
routines on here, but we can certainly talk about
Mhm.
that.
Absolutely.
Okay, cool beans.
Okay.
Cool beans.
Okay.
All right. Well, we've been on here for a while. So I'm going to say I will see you guys next time. And I'm sure Miss Leona will have something wonderful in her mind when we get together next week for another episode of the Modern
Modern
Home.
home economist. See
We'll
you
see you next
soon.
time.